gamers, and welcome to episode 399 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for December 10th, 2022. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
Not much, man. Holiday season we're in the midst of it, man.
Yep.
Waiting to get to Christmas or other holidays that people celebrate that we don't care about, though. Because this is America, and America celebrates Christmas.
There just aren't enough presents in the other holidays.
Well, see, I think there is for the Jews. You got 8 days, but I don't know how they do it.
Small things. It's like socks and gold coins and stuff. Gold coin candies.
I mean, I used to think it was just they just get a dreidel all the time.
I think you do on one of the days, yeah. So like it's all small stuff, and then you get like one big one. I think that's what I learned from the Rugrats Hanukkah special.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, just waiting to get through this. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but like we hear, it's also getting chilly. Not super cold. I mean, it's cold today, but yeah, it's been okay. It's been okay. Yeah.
Earlier this week, I was out there like just fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not officially winter yet, but we get into those days. All right. At least we get no snow yet. We have not got any snow yet. Anytime it has been precipitation, it has been rain, so that's great.
Yes.
All right. So let's get down to it. Just quickly get through sports. All right. So my Commanders have tied their first games as Commanders again with the Giants. So we didn't win, but we didn't lose either. We didn't lose. We didn't win. So it just felt like, whatever. Yeah. I think mostly it probably hurts the Giants more because they really want to do something. But, oh well. We're playing the Giants again now. Like, we got a bye week this week, and then we play Giants again.
Oh,
so hopefully we'll win that one.
That's a weird
we'll
schedule.
Be home that time. Yeah, it really is. The Ravens, they got by. Lamar Jackson got hurt.
They really did.
That was bad. But they still won the game because the Broncos are just so horrible on offense. I mean, the ineptitude of the Broncos offense, I've never seen this in my life, especially with a guy who's supposed to be such a great quarterback with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's over for him until next year. And like, I wait till next year to see if he jumps back. Maybe this is like, oh man, this is one of the worst years he's ever have, and he's never going to be this bad ever again. But man, like they got this guy over here, like for this offense to be something, because this offense has been bad for years, but they had a great defense. Right. Like ever since Peyton Manning left, offense has been terrible, but the defense has been good. So they always had a good enough defense that if there was if they had any kind of offense, there will be contenders. But it just never happened. Now they finally got Russell Wilson, and it looked like okay, there's gonna be some that whole division, the AFC West looked like it was gonna be tight. It's like, oh man, you got the Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. You got the Chargers coming up big with Herbert. You already got the Raiders, got a new coach now, Coach McDaniels from the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
He's coaching there now, and they got he was offensive coordinator there, and they got Kart, and then you got Devontae Adams, who came from Green Bay. He left Rodgers because Rodgers didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Like he wanted to stay, go, or whatever. Devontae Adams was like, I ain't got time for this shit. I'll play with this team. And then you got Russell Wilson go to the Broncos. So it's like, oh man, this is gonna be a tight race. Nope, it just stood the same. And the Chiefs are winning. Everybody else is just mediocre or bad. And it's just like, good God, this is fucked up. So the Broncos losing, man, that game. Like, this is a game they're supposed to win. They were up like 9-3. It was 9-3 for the longest time. And then Ravens came and won at the end. They finally got a touchdown. It went 10-9. It was ridiculous. Like, I was thinking the Ravens were going to lose. Damn, man, the Ravens, and they're going to lose against this team that came to score. And I said, oh, no, they didn't. Broncos, it's funny how Broncos fans were thinking the opposite. They were thinking, like, how are we going to lose this game? We're up 9-3 for the longest. We're going to lose this game at some point. A lot of fans were like, yep, I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop, man. It's like, because and they knew they were going to probably lose. Then the Raiders had a bad loss. On the last Thursday night game, Baker Mayfield was cut from the he was cut from the Panthers. So that's sad. Coming from Cleveland.
Yeah.
He left there. Cleveland traded him to the Carolina because they got Watson, he didn't start till last week, which they did win. He was rusty, but he looked that great. But that man hasn't played for over almost 2 years.
Right.
So they cut. So Baker Mayfield was out there. People figured he was going to get picked up. He doesn't know who. And then the Rams got it. Rams is having a disappointing year. Won the Super Bowl, and they only won 3 games this year. So they picked him up because they had a quarterback who's hurt. So it's like, hey, yeah, take him. And seemed like McVay liked Baker Mayfield in the past. So now nobody expected Baker Mayfield to probably play the Thursday night game. He's been signed 48 hours before that game.
Oh wow!
But the thing is, they didn't really have a quarterback to really come in because their third string quarterback or whatever was hurt, or it was something. So Baker Mayfield had to come in, and they didn't look that great because for obvious reasons, the team is already bad now because they have so many injuries on that team. But the thing is, Raiders weren't taking really full advantage of it. They were winning, but it was they're winning but not scoring more. So they kept them in a long time, and then so it came down to a last drive. I forgot what they were down by because they won by 1 point, I think. And then they pinned them back. They pinned back the Rams at the 2-yard line or something. I think it was a 98-yard drive that Baker Mayfield went. He went all the way down and scored a touchdown. And it's what? This guy has just got on his damn team. And he's come back to do this unbelievable thing against the Raiders. It's so embarrassing. Now, Rams are technically home. But like I've said in the past, there's not a lot of Rams fans or Charger fans. They're in LA, but LA is still Raiders country, man. So it's basically Raiders were home. And so it was always Raiders losing their home game to the Rams, having mostly just Raiders fans there. And lose to this team. Raiders had so many bad losses. They only lost to a coach who just got hired off the fucking set of ESPN. His first win, he came in and got his first win, his first start and win as a coach against them. And this shit happened. A guy, 48 hours, just signed with the damn team, try to prove himself because people are thinking oh man, he might be done, and having this incredible comeback to win.
Yeah.
It's damn Raiders, man. Y'all is just I would say I feel sorry, but I don't because I'm a Commanders fan. So I'm no, I don't care. I don't care about nobody about what troubles they're having because I'm still going through shit too at the same time. So whatever. But yeah. So there's other stories going on in the NFL, but the same teams are up top basically. So you got the Bills as number one still, but thing is, Von Miller is gone, their best defensive player. Guile came in, they just got this year. He got hurt, he's out for the rest of the year, so that hurts them. The quarterback could still be hurt, I'm not sure, but we'll see how it affects them going to the playoffs. And then Holmes. The Kansas City did lose. They got upset last week by Joe Burrow and Cincinnati. Cincinnati has their number. Cincinnati has not lost since Joe Burrow has been the quarterback on that team. He has not lost to the Kansas City. Wow. He beat them in the playoffs last year. He beat them in a regular season. I think was it last year too? I forget. But and then he beat them this time. He doesn't lose to him. So Cincinnati's back in it. So Ravens have to watch out that they might. People are thinking Cincinnati's going to catch up to Ravens and take that lead. They still got to play them again. So yeah, Ravens. It's between them and Cincinnati who's going to win the division. Eagles still number one. One loss. They look good last week. Cowboys 1-2. Everyone was really big on the Cowboys. They beat a team. They beat the Colts, who has a rookie coach. And the Colts play tough games, but I don't know why people just so favorite of them. It's just always a Cowboys thing. Everybody's all favor for them, and then they're going to just choke. So I'm not even worried about the Cowboys. Not until they get to the Super Bowl. I'm not worried about them. I mean, I don't even hate the Cowboys that much anymore. Like, I just don't care. Like, I'm so indifferent to them. I was like, Cowboys gonna do what Cowboys do. They're gonna get all the hype, get all the attention because they're the most money-making team in the world, and then disappoint. And people will be like, oh man, this is so disappointing they lost. Then next year is gonna be the same thing. They're gonna get our attention, look really good at some point, then disappoint. Man, I went through all this with Tony Romo, and it seemed like I'm doing the same thing with Dak.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it really for football. Other sports, it's not really much to talk about there. I know baseball had a lot of stuff happen. People going different teams. I think Judge, my brother told me Judge re-signed with the Yankees.
Okay.
So that pissed me off because I was like, damn, they kept him, so he could still be knocking home runs against the Orioles. I was hoping he'd go somewhere else. But other things happen, other trades happen, but I don't want to talk about it. Basketball, Wizards suck. This been losing recently, but the whole league is, like I said, is still. But I know the Wizards. Unless something changes, something hasn't really changed. It seemed like they got skilled guys there. It's just not meshing well. And then Beal is out, and I don't know why he's out this time. Like, he's missed so many games, and I don't know why. I mean, the illness thing, I don't know what the hell that was about, but whatever. I don't know why he's out right now. And we got other injuries too. The Wizards got some other injuries, so it's not helping that they don't have that much rotation going in these games. And there's been 2 back-to-back games that has been really close, and they couldn't come out with a win. So that's it. So you got anything like wrestling news or anything?
No wrestling news. Did you want to talk about the Brittany Griner stuff?
Oh yeah. Brittany Griner is free now. Yeah. So they have done. I guess, did they do a trade with Russia? They traded
some like arms dealer or something.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So Brittany Griner, she is back home, safe. I didn't read much after that, so I don't know any stories that she told or what she said to the media. I just knew she was safe, and I haven't looked much at it since then. I mean, unless you heard something. Did you hear something?
Nah, I just heard the last thing I saw was that they had done like the physical and everything just to make sure she was healthy and good. And that seems
okay.
fine.
No fleas. No fleas.
No fleas from Russia.
That's good. No, okay. It'll be epidemic, Daniel. They'll get carry diseases.
Never know. They might inject her with something.
Yeah.
SARS-CoV-7.
So yeah, that's great. Yeah. So I'm glad that's done. And this is all planned, Dan. It's all planned for the holidays. That's what it's all set up.
Yep. Joe Biden's been letting her sit in that cell just so we could do some feel-good Christmas story after all this Twitter stuff.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we get into what we were watching. So I finally went back to watch Andor.
Oh, cool.
And which is the Star Wars show, and I'm on the 4th episode now, and yeah, it picked up. It was pretty boring those first 2 episodes, but 3rd episode it picked up. The action picked up, and the story really picked up to know where it's going. So I was like, okay, now I know where it's going. Now I know, and at least the action has me awakened me. So I was like, okay, this seems like a really interesting show now. Like I want to finish it off. It seems to be all right. Really more of a rebel type of show, not a whole bunch of, so far I haven't seen no mystical stuff happening. Seems like a very espionage kind of dealings of the rebellion and stuff like that, so it's a new way, it's a new viewpoint of the whole Star Wars, a new look of it, really. What else have I watched? Oh yeah, I finally watched the Christmas Carol, the one with Jim Carrey, Disney did years ago. They have it in 3D, so I was like, I'll check it out with my Oculus, watch it in 3D. And man, that movie's boring. It's like an exact retelling of Christmas Carol, like the actual every line of the book and everything. I mean, I know that story. Like, so when I was hearing him talk, I was like, this is the exact words from the story. I was like, this is very boring. It looks good, but it's very boring. It's like I didn't want like a strict retelling of it. I want like something more to it, and not a big fan of it. And yeah, that's it for what I've been watching. So I guess we get to what we've been playing. So what you been playing, man?
Yeah, so I've been playing a couple of different things, but I have still been playing Vampire Survivors, still, Game Pass. So I have discovered the depth to it now. There are multiple levels that you can play through. I'm honestly not sure how I unlocked the second level. I know once I got into the second level, there was like an item that I picked up that unlocked the third level, and I think there are more items in that level to then pick up in the next level. Yeah, and the second level is really where it feels like it kind of opens up. The second level is more of a horizontal scrolling level. I think it's the library. So you're basically going left or right. You can go either way. I was just going left, like constantly moving left while the horde mostly stayed behind me. And because it's not like all four sides, you don't get swamped as easily. So that one I actually made it to the end of the level, which wasn't like a point in the level. It was more like a defeated this enemy type thing. It wasn't like I got to the most left area of the screen. But in that level, you also open up, you get items, or was it no, it was the second one. In the second one, you get a book that then like opens up an option on the menu screen that shows you like if you combine these two items, or if you pick up these two items and then over level this one item, you get like this super special version of that item, which is really cool. The only thing that I didn't think about initially is that you do have like a limited number of spots for those upgrades. I think it's 8. So you can't just get like, oh, I'm going to get the whip and I'm going to get the cross and I'm going to get the garlic and I'm going to get, you can't get every single weapon and max them out. You only have 8 slots to fill out. So if you decide that you're going to pick up the clover for luck, that's one less spot that you could get like a different weapon or something in. But there is a point depending on like what item you get. Like for me, it's the garlic. The garlic is the one I want. It basically puts like this force field around you. And once you level that up, it's basically like the enemies can't get within striking distance of you. And you can basically just, take out everybody before they reach you. Now, I will say, and I don't know if this is like a performance thing with my computer or what, but, and I think I mentioned this a little bit last time, but once you get the amount of enemies on your screen as they throw at you at the end of these levels, it wasn't even like I was controlling the action at that point. It was just like frame to frame. I can't even quite tell where I'm moving. It's just things around me exploding into blood or whatever. And then eventually it was just like, you beat this level. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I did to beat it, if I beat an enemy or if I surpassed the time limit. Cause I think I did that one in like 30 or so minutes. Like I've gotten up there in my play times. I've gotten over level 20 on the character level. But I know there's stories that I've heard from people in podcasts that are just like, oh yeah, I've gotten to like level 100 or something like that, or it's just insane. So I don't know if like level 1 just keeps going as long as you can survive or not, because it doesn't seem like there's, or at least it hasn't explicitly laid out like an objective for me to do to beat that level.
All right, so what? Okay. Are you talking about level 1 as your level 1 character? What are you talking about?
So when I'm saying level, I'm talking about character level, but there are multiple different area levels.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are different stages, I guess is what I should.
So how you get to a next stage?
So I'm not entirely sure how I unlocked the second stage, honestly. I don't know if it was I survived a long time or if I found an item. I really don't know.
What level were you?
I honestly, I have no idea what character level I was at. I think the highest I've gotten on that first stage is like 25 or something like that. I don't know if there's a place that I can like look at previous run data or something like that. I think that would actually be really cool if it's not in there, because they do like keep a tally of how many enemies you kill and all that stuff while you're playing the game. So I'd be intrigued to see, like, if it could show you, like, loadout, the level of weapons you were at, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm really into that game, and the fact that there is, like, I was into it even with just that first stage, but now that I see that there's more depth to it, I think it's even cooler. To kind of jump into the Game Awards stuff real quick, they did announce that there is a phone version of that game that is free. I downloaded that and gave it a try. It's basically the same game, but using touch screen controls, even just because all you're really doing in that game is moving around. It's still not what I'm looking for as far as like responsiveness and the way I need to like move to avoid enemies sometimes, like just sliding in between two guys to get out of like this really cramped area or something like that. So I don't know that I'm really going to go back to that. You know, that would be a good Switch game because you have those controls built in. But for me, it's not something I necessarily want to play on my phone. But that game's really cool, you know, and for such a cheap thing, you know, I think it's what, $5 even if you don't have Game Pass. I think that's a hell of a deal there. So that's really cool. Continuing kind of the Game Pass thing, I'd mentioned it, I think, previous week, but Soccer Story is a game that came out recently on Game Pass, and it is very similar to Golf Story. It's kind of an isometric sports meets RPG type thing, somewhat in the vein of like a Mario Golf for the Game Boy, or Mario Tennis for the Game Boy, made by Camelot. And so far, I've played about an hour of it. It's kind of you in this world where soccer is only for like this corporation. Like this corporation came in and banned soccer for everyone except for them. So you have to be an official like soccer corp team to play soccer. So everybody in the world is sad because they can't play soccer. And this magical soccer ball comes to you, a child, and you go on an adventure with this magical soccer ball, forming a team. Yeah, so basically I've formed a team so far, and I've played my first game, but leading into that, I was doing stuff around the world, like you can hit targets around the world, or you can, you know, use things as a makeshift goal. I was flipping over trash cans by kicking the ball into it. It's really, really kind of neat. It has a pixel art style, but it seems like it's made in like a 3-dimensional engine because it has like added effects and stuff like that. It seems very clever so far. It's really neat. It's a cool like spiritual, not successor, but kind of in the same vein as Golf Story. And with that next Golf Story game, the sports story game coming out soon, I wonder how that's gonna be as far as like how does this compare to that game. It gives me also vibes of that Dodgeball Academy game as well. That's a game that seemed really cool. I never spent too much time invested in it, but seemed like that would be neat, kind of in a similar vein. But yeah, that's cool so far. And then as part of the like EA trial thing with Game Pass, I downloaded Need for Speed Unbound just to give that a shot and see how that is. So far, it seems fine. There's nothing that's like bothering me about it outside of the fact that it's not Forza, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to be Forza. It feels like it's still trying to be Need for Speed, and I don't know if there's like room for Need for Speed anymore, because like my like peak point for Need for Speed was Need for Speed Underground, and this is doing a lot of that vibe-wise. I mean, I don't remember that there was much of a story to Underground, but from like the street racing culture kind of stuff, it's definitely doing a similar thing here.
Yeah, the story was that you are an undercover cop and you're going to the ring of, you know, the underground street racing, and some drug deals been happening.
Oh no.
And stuff like that.
I was a cop I was a narc, Dominic? I don't think I must not have beat that game. I'm glad I didn't.
And then,
that way I didn't have to find out I was annoying.
You like the guys. You like the one of the lead guys. You became friends with him, and you liked his sister.
Ah, shit.
And y'all liked each other. And he had a car that his father gave him.
Mm-hmm. his father that was put away for like murdering somebody with a wrench or something. Yeah. But yeah, just to go back to the game, like I think visually it looks cool. Like the added effects.
I don't remember in Fast and the Furious. Was it drugs or was it guns?
I don't remember. Was it?
Oh, they were just stealing.
It was steroids. Let's be realistic. It was steroids. Yeah, it might have been parts. Yeah, I think
parts. Okay, yeah, they were just stealing parts.
Yeah, no, they're good guys. Dominic, they wouldn't sell drugs
to build missiles
for the Russians that they then take to space. Yeah, so like the visual flourishes in Need for Speed Unbound are add some like coolness to it, something different that you don't get out of a Forza game. This game relies a lot on like you drifting, so it does like the not simmy kind of, you hit the brakes a little bit and then you just absolutely oversteer everything. That takes some getting used to and will continue to take getting used to if I play a lot more of this game. I think it's interesting so far, and I just left it on whatever difficulty level that it defaulted to, but I haven't come in first in any of the races that I've played so far, and I shouldn't, because I'm racing like Mercedes and Lamborghinis and shit, and I'm in a 1992 Nissan of some sort that obviously I've kitted out as a street racer, but it still doesn't seem like it should necessarily be competing with these cars. But it also doesn't seem like unfathomable that as I improve my car with different mods and stuff that I could potentially get there. Now, I haven't seen anything yet as far as like these are the parts I can replace, and that's stuff that I definitely remember doing in Need for Speed Underground back in the day. So I would expect to see that stuff. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm basically like 30 to 40 minutes into the game so far. They've set up a little bit of the story. It's you and your friend working at this parts shop, and at night you're going out and you're street racing, now that you've built your car up a little bit. Yeah, I think it's fine. I will say the one thing that bothers me about it is like, and you find this in a lot of games still, but I don't need to be looking at the little mini map to follow my GPS when I need to go to a place in the open world. You should be able to display that on the game screen somewhere, on the street, in the world. Like real cars nowadays have heads up displays. Like you should be able to do that in the video game.
Especially because you're using the expensive cars. It ain't like you're just a regular driving a regular car here.
Now,
like you
maybe
that's
like the thing. Maybe as I get into one of these more fancy cars, maybe they'll do that. But I have my doubts that they've thought it through that much. The thing that bothers me about that is I have noticed in myself that I become less familiar or don't absorb the environments as much when I have to be staring at that mini map.
I think you're not the only one I think a lot of people do. A lot of people have said that.
And I mean that was one of the like kind of breaking points for me with like the later stage Grand Theft Autos, like even Vice City and then into San Andreas, is like they give me these bigger worlds. And I can't, actually, no, it was 4 that really was the one for me, where it's like, there are bits of this map that I recognize and can kind of navigate on my own. But for the most part, it's me setting a waypoint and then following that waypoint on my mini map. And I'm not absorbing these environments like I did in Grand Theft Auto 3. Like Grand Theft Auto 3, I feel like I could play right now, or I could draw you a map right now of how that breaks down. And obviously it's a lot smaller, But I also, at that time, I wasn't necessarily just looking at the mini-map. I was driving around, getting used to the environments a little bit more. And maybe, they're expecting you to do that and not, rely on the mini-map. But
I know. See, Grand Theft Auto 3, it works that way because, like you just said, it's smaller.
Yeah, it is.
And then you're kind of doing missions around the same area,
right?
While in these later games, you're doing missions, but the area is so dense and everything that you're not doing missions just in the same area all the time. Now, the only place is your home is the same and everything like that, but once you start leaving out, you start going further or going to other places and other buildings, and it's just like it's so dense.
Yeah.
So it's hard to just remember if you're just basically just look at the mini map.
Yeah, exactly. And adding like an in-world ability to navigate, I feel like allows you to look at the surroundings more and absorb that a little more. So that's one of the things that kind of frustrates me about this. It's kind of neat the way they do the open world, or at least it's different. Because like Forza, you're just constantly driving around. You're almost like not a person in the car. You're basically playing as the car, right? Because it'll go night to day and day to night. Meanwhile, you're just driving around all the time. This, it actually seems like it transitions between night and day when you go back to the garage. You go back to the garage and you store the cash that you won that night or that day. And then it transitions to the next day and the next time zone.
You be getting cash? I don't got like a cash app or something, man. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean it's illegal street racing, Dominic. You get it in Bitcoin.
Okay.
No, but for like races, you have like buy-ins and stuff like that, so you can't necessarily race at this level if you don't have enough money to get in at this level. You can also place bets, like if you're like, okay, they're predicting that I'm going to come in fourth in this race, but I can say, oh, this guy that's predicted to come in third, I can say, I'm going to beat you for sure, and I'll get $1,600. Or I could say I'm going to beat the guy that's projected to come in sixth and I'll get like $500, kind of stuff like that. That's kind of a neat aspect to it. There are the police. There's a police aspect to it. I'm not entirely sure what that does outside of adds a little chaos to the races, because they will come in and try and kind of take you out, knock you out. And then after the race is over, you have like this heat level, so they'll continue to follow you after you finish the race, and then you have to ditch them. But I don't know what happens if you don't get ditched, or if you don't ditch them. I assume maybe they take some of your cash or something like that. And then kind of your heat level dies down when you go back to the garage and you put your cash away. It seems like from trailers that there are bigger vehicles involved, like SWAT teams and stuff like that will come after you in like 4x4s and stuff like that, like SUVs, stuff like that. Right now it's just kind of regular patrol cars. They're doing stuff that I don't know if it's really anything new from what they've been doing in the past, for this series, but I've checked out of it for quite a while now. And it does at least offer something different from a Forza game. In some cases, that's a positive. In some cases, that's a negative. But the fact that they are doing something that allows them to kind of differentiate themselves from Forza instead of just being, dollar store, Wish brand Forza, I think that's good for the series. But they definitely need to find something that can further differentiate themselves and prove why they should, still exist, why they're still relevant, I guess is what I should say. And Forza really hasn't gone down the like street car culture route. So I hope for Need for Speed's sake they don't ever do that. But I wonder if this point, moving to like a Burnout style, well, I don't even say style, but like going with a Burnout game, if that would do anything for EA to either change the narrative or distance themselves further. I'm not sure, but overall, I think this game is fine. You know, it's if I'm thinking about it in review scores right now, I mean, I've only played 30 minutes, but this seems like a 7, you know, to me. This doesn't seem like anything that's going to blow me away anywhere in this game, even as I get further into it, but it also doesn't seem like a bad game. It just seems middle of the pack, you know, above average, you know. That's how I'm feeling about this game so far.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll talk what I've been playing.
Yeah.
I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, so I'm playing more of that. I played some with my friend, and it's all right. It's a Borderlands game. It's the difference is that, like, instead of, they don't have bombs, they have like you using powers.
Okay, like magical spells, like, fantasy stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but you still had a power in the last game, but you only had. But this time it seemed like you have 2. You have one that seems like it does some type of elemental type of damage or something of that extent. And another one that's just your character power. So you can, I guess it as you grow, maybe it gets more powerful. Like you can, as you use your stats, build your stats up and level up. It's still a looter shooter. I mean, you're just looting a whole lot. There's their guns. I mean, even though there's a crossbow that looks kind of old, but basically there's guns, so it doesn't really make sense for the fantasy setting. But they even joke about that. The comedy is still the same as Borderlands. It's all right. Like, I mean, I find it funny, and I don't know. I don't really get the whole overworld thing. I mean, the overworld thing supposed to feel like, oh yeah, you're going to a new section, and like this is the Dungeons and Dragon kind of board thing. I mean, it's okay, but it's okay. It's like it gets a little somewhat charm to it or whatever, but it's not big. I mean, you can walk through the grass and then it's like, oh no, an enemy comes and gets you. Then you gotta go through, but it just like you fall in the grass and then it goes to another screen and then you're just shooting a whole bunch of enemies like you do in regular Borderlands. Like you're in a town and something like that and just shooting the enemies. And then you get some special loot when you finish it. The game, I mean, so far it's fun. It's a Borderlands game. It's something fun for me and my friend to play together or something and try out. So yeah, it's nothing really special. I mean, I can't say right now I like it better than 3 yet. I can't say that, but I'm leaning towards that I like it better than 3. Okay. I'm leaning more towards it. So we'll see as
2
as
like your top in the series?
Yeah, 2's number 1. All right, so I've also been playing some more Persona 5 Royale. Not really much to say there either. I've been, like I said, I've been using the cheats and stuff, so I've been doing all these extra activities that I haven't done, not just because of the Royale version of Persona, but because some of the things I didn't do in the last Persona game. Like I've been playing baseball a whole lot more. Well, the batting cage. I just been doing other activities and seeing what kind of like dialogue choices come up with them or something like that. I've been playing the lottery more. I didn't used to play that a lot because I didn't want to spend my money, and I didn't know because I always kept losing. Now I don't care. Now it's like, hey, I will see if I can win or not. I mean, the game still fun. I like the story of you just changing these evil people hearts and these despicable guys, and you're just making the world better. But I also have a very strong story, emotional element to it, something that relates to the real world. So it's a cool game. Like as far as Japanese games, it's one of my top ones. I mean, it's up there with like the Yakuza series, this and the Trails series, like some of my favorite Japanese RPGs franchises. Even though Yakuza is probably it is action, but it has that. But definitely the Like a Dragon has that RPG element. It's definitely RPG with that one. But yeah, I like this style of it. What the JRPGs are going in, like the instead of even I mean, there's always places for like Dragon quests, and well, Final Fantasy is more. It depends. I mean, we will be talking about it for about 16. I'll get to that to state my opinion on that one. But yeah, so that's it. That's all I've been playing. So I guess we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And then we're flashbacking to 2012, 10 years ago, and this week in December. Well, the last 2 weeks, because I didn't do the games last week, did the covers. So we actually got a big one. I didn't even realize it came out in December. Far Cry 3. Yeah. It's the 10th anniversary of Far Cry 3. Now, this is like probably the biggest change in the Far Cry. I mean, 2 was a big change too, but this is the one that really got, it was as critically acclaimed as 3 was. Like 3 was like, man, this, a lot of people like this. This was like a big change in the series. This is the probably when it got, how popular it was. This is like the peak.
Yeah, definitely.
Of Far Cry. And like I remember playing it. I know you beat it. I never beaten it. I got probably to the halfway point of it before I stopped. But I did have fun with it. I mean, I liked it. This is the start of the towers. This is before the towers was getting old. Yeah. Like, oh, you get on the tower here, you unlock this part. It was still okay then. Then basically everything's been. This is like the template for all the rest of the Far Cry's.
Mm-hmm. Far Cry's all Ubisoft games, basically.
Yeah, it was just you get on a tower and then you unlock a place. I mean, actually, Assassin's Creed started it really, but it just became like this was the pinnacle. This is like the best iteration of this unlocking areas with a whole bunch of junk to do in that area, showing all the freaking icons of like, oh, you can do this here, you can do that here, and then that's what all Ubisoft games were just doing that. And yeah, man, but I mean at the time it was fine. It was fine with this game. The story was pretty good. He had a good villain, even though you didn't really see him much. No. But just like I think that's with the villains. Well, actually, see, I think a villain needs to be well, not needs to be, it's just that it works if he can at least talk. Like, you don't have to see him, because you definitely don't want to fight him all the time, because no, you just kill him. But unless it's like a superhero, a supervillain or something, that's different. But the hearing through the radio and stuff, like saying things, I don't think in that one game, I don't know how much did Voss even talked. I think he basically disappeared, right?
Yeah.
After, because because you kill him, don't you kill him halfway through? What I forget. I feel like I killed
it's so
him.
hard to remember now, because wasn't the woman that you were like working with?
She became the big bad
or something like that, and then yeah,
because and but it was a fun. Yeah, I remember being fun. But you can talk some more because you actually beaten it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the formula basically at that time hadn't kind of overstayed its welcome yet, and the idea of going from this radio tower and then you open up the surrounding area around you and it would put stuff on your map like the animals in the area, and then you would hunt those animals to create different upgrades and stuff. I thought all that was cool. At the time, it was graphically impressive. You were on this, tropical island, basically jungle area. And it was open world, you could just go and do whatever you wanted. You could even swim. You can go under the water, as I recall too much. And then just the absurdity of the story, it was ridiculous. It was basically like you being this frat guy who was hanging out with his friends, and then he has to, survive by himself in the jungle, and then you become like one with the native population and stuff like that, and you go on like these drug trips too. It was absolutely insane story wise. It really was, at least what it feels like, and part of it is I haven't really spent a lot of time with the series since then. But from everything that I've seen, it sounds like that was basically the peak of Far Cry too. Because that first game was just like so generic, and then 2 was crazy in its own way.
Yeah, the first 2 just, I always hear things about 2, but I got into it late, and by the time I tried it again, because it came free with, I think, Xbox or something, it just was, I didn't really care about playing it anymore. You know, I was like, there's too many better games, so you can try this again. And 1, it was just, it just like, I like the jungle scene, but it was, like you said, but other than that, you know, it became like just a generic shooter. So there were like weird monsters and stuff in there, like mutants. Yeah, well, I didn't even got that far. Yeah. I think I just shot humans. I just shot humans, but for that. But yeah, I was about to say, but the newer ones, I never heard it the same way as Far Cry 3. Like people talk about it the same way as Far Cry 3. Yeah, it always felt like something special was going to happen with them, but then when the game comes out, it's I mean, it's like it's fun. I mean, if you like those type of game, if you like that type of game, you still like that formula. It's fine, but there wasn't much difference besides the new villains, really. It always seemed like something different. I mean, it seemed like a good setting, just that, like, I mean, the one I played, Far Cry 4, was the Himalayas and stuff like that. The Nepal or whatever. That was pretty cool. And then like being up in the mountains and things of that nature, and with snow, so that was different from, you know, tropical, which was all basically Far Cry 3, 2 was like a savanna, basically, and then 1 was tropical, so it was like, they were all kind of warm areas. This was kind of a cool area, cold and to, like, fairly mild. Then with Far Cry 5 being where, like, the USA, so it's like, oh, crap, and it felt like, oh, man, it's gonna get some day, like, some of those, like, freaking, what was people would be like, oh, America, like I want to get America back to olden times and shit like that. Like the people. It's for the people. We take control. Like the government. We don't like big government and shit like that. But it didn't go that far. And as far as story, apparently what people said. Like that you would think it would be interesting if they went that far, because they didn't want to be political, when it's like, dude, I mean, it is what it is, you know? You just do it. I mean, if
you're going to choose that setting, you knew what you were doing to begin with.
Exactly. And like the kind of guy you got is like, he seemed like he's very preachy.
Yeah, he was basically like a cult leader.
Gossipily. Yeah, but it's not God though. It's something else. And so it's like, y'all could have just did it. I mean, you could have went that route. There was nothing wrong. Like, yes, I'm sorry. If somebody say like, "Oh man, I don't like this is controversial," oh well, there's so many movies do the same shit. So much content does the same shit. You just deal with it, like because it's not really there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like your storytelling element, and I don't think you're gonna lose sales honestly on that. Like I don't think sales wise it was gonna hurt you that much on that if you went that route. Yeah, I mean, because it's not like because you're not saying anything like America's bad. You're just saying these extremists they're extremists. It's like, like patriots, like stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that it was like very cowardly how they went with that story.
Take it from the French to be cowardly.
Yeah. So then you have the last one, which is now that I really have no familiarity with it. I just heard that it wasn't as good as it could. It wasn't that good. Like the story wise, it wasn't that good. I don't know about gameplay. I'm guessing gameplay was just the same. But I really have no familiarity with 6. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah.
But
what did they even do in that one? Which one was that one?
I don't know. Was
right.
Like
that was the one with
like
what's his face? Yeah.
Some Hispanic place or something. I don't know. Brasilia. I don't know. Some South America or somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it was basically like Cuba or something like that. The equivalent of.
Okay.
And that was the one with the what's his name? Esposito.
Okay.
So I completely forgotten about that for a moment. God.
All right. So what we got here? We got Guardians of Middle Earth. I guess you can explain this because I didn't think it was worth talking about. So
yeah,
what
basically
is this?
it was around the time when Dotas were blowing up, and it's basically the Lord of the Rings version of one of those games. It came out on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Arcade, and pretty quickly just disappeared. So yeah, is it worth talking about? Probably not. Is it worth talking about in the grand scheme of things as to like the trends during that time? Maybe.
Okay, yeah, like copycat, yeah, because what was more popular, and that's one of those copycat games. And there was quite a few of them. They did, but you don't hear about them. You don't hear about it anymore. All right, so what we got here? Oh, we got the 10-year anniversary of the Grand Theft Auto Vice City. This came out first. We just said, maybe we did mention it. The 10-year anniversary of the 3. That would have been last year, right? I mean, last year we would have did that.
Yeah.
But this is based off. Isn't this what the PC one was copying of?
Yeah,
and that's what people were pissed off.
I think
about
this one was that basically. It was like that's why people were so upset because it was that. I only highlighted this one because I remember. I don't know how long after it came out on iOS that it came out on Android, but I remember picking that up. Because I was like, oh man, yeah, I want to play Vice City again. And then I played like one mission and I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to play this on my phone. But it was a nice little hit of nostalgia real quick. I didn't highlight this one, but I just want to mention it real quick. Uncharted Fight for Fortune. Because I had to look it up because I was like, that's not the one for Vita that I remember playing. That was like Golden Compass or something. And this is a card game that apparently came out on the Vita. And I had no idea that they had released an Uncharted card game for the Vita, or I just wiped it from my mind, basically.
I never did it get rated pretty good?
I highly doubt it. 67 on Metacritic, 7.5 from Destructoid, 5 from Edge, 7 from IGN, 6 from Eurogamer.
Oh, okay.
So
great. So great.
I mean, for what it was, I guess not too bad, but wow. I don't remember that being a thing at all.
All right. So I guess that's it for 2012. So now we're going back 20 years. So the first 2 weeks of December, we got Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon came out on the PS2. This is the first Ghost Recon. I did not really pay attention to it because it looked like one of those realistic army games, and I was like, well, I didn't care about SOCOM, so I don't care about probably this either. And yeah, I didn't pay attention to it, but it was actually it got rated pretty good on PC, and Xbox. It did not get rated good for PS2 and GameCube got 59. PS2 got 63, but that PC got an 80 and the Xbox got an 84.
That checks out.
So I mean, I don't know why. Like, what was it? Was it just graphics, or was it there some playability that changes that were made?
I think it was probably a combination of like for like the GameCube around that time. It was definitely. It was just like, oh, I'm not surprised that this would get rated less here, that kind of thing. Like. A lot of it, I mean, especially for a game like this, was still just shaking Nintendo's image of being a kiddie kind of console. So some of the development of stuff wouldn't get as much focus for like a Ghost Recon style game. And PC is just, natively its home. So it doesn't surprise me that would get a drastically higher score because we're still talking like relatively early times for first-person shooters on consoles, and even with Ghost Recon, it was more of a tactical thing. There was a lot more elements to it than just shooting, but that's kind of how it was at the time.
I mean, sales-wise, it did very well. Apparently, on the consoles, it did really well for PC. For the PC, it sold 430 units. By the end of 2001, and I think by March it was 200. I mean, it did 240 in US, and which earned it just 10.1 million copies by 2006. And like the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox version sold 2 million copies, so more than 2 million copies, and they said that helped Ubisoft have like its record high for the company.
Oh wow!
Which it's kind of interesting because I just remember Ubisoft making. Well, actually, what year is this? 2002.
Yeah.
When did it do Prince of Persia?
When did it do Prince of Persia? Prince of Persia.
Was that next year?
Sands of Time. Sands of Time. Yes, 2003, October.
Oh, okay. So that's when they start being disappointed in their sales because I guess they're going good high now because they didn't like what that and Beyond Good and Evil wasn't good. That fault.
Yeah,
Beyond Good and Evil. But that came out at the same time.
Sands of Time, I think they were happy with. It wasn't until like Warrior Within where they were like, "Oh, we made it edgy," and then the like new
Third
Prince
one,
of Persia in 2008 was when they were really like unhappy with the series because they were like, "Oh, this came out and is all
that's
cel
right."
shaded."
Prince of Persia was actually okay. It actually did all right. Yeah, it was Beyond Good and Evil, which was a good game, but it didn't sell well. But I think it came out like I said, it came out like the same time as Prince of Persia. But I was like, yeah, released both of y'all games around the same time. What else where am I at now? So okay, that was Ghost Recon. What else we have here? We have big one, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. We already talked about this during the coverage though. So this is like one of the biggest Dragon Balls. This is like really big in the US because really the other Dragon Ball Z games it wasn't as popular because Dragon Ball Z wasn't as popular when it came out on Super Nintendo. Yeah. And whatever else it came out on. But so now this is like the height of popular Dragon Ball Z. And I know a lot of people got it. Let me see. It said it sold like in Japan, it sold 648 copies. And the United States, it sold 2.4 million copies by 2007. Damn. Yeah. It sold a shit ton. God damn, why did it go to about 2007? Can they just tell me like within like the year? Good God. But it sold a lot. It sold a lot. And it wasn't rated that great, but it was Dragon Ball Z. It was nothing else. There was no other Dragon Ball Z game really. So yeah. That was worth playing anyway. All right. So the next game is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance. I remember me and my friend had bought this at the same time. I don't know if it was like I bought it and let him hold it, but I don't remember because I don't know where the game is now. But I remember we got it at the same time when we got our DSs. So we got at the time it was a DS because it had backwards compatibility on it. Mm-hmm. And the game is the it was the game based on the Super Nintendo, but it wasn't that. It also had the four swords with it. Yeah. Which I never touched. So I don't know nothing about that. Same. I don't know anything about it because I heard it was multiplayer. So I was like, I don't know. I'm not doing. I couldn't figure it out. So I didn't really care, honestly.
But do a lot of link cabling myself. So, but the game itself, it's fun. I played a little bit on my sister's when it was a Super Nintendo, so I was playing that for a bit. But I never completed it. I never completed Link to the Past. So I always stopped at the new world. When I got to the other world, that's where I stopped. And never went past it. But I know my friend loved that game. He played it a lot. He beat it. I don't know how many times he beat it, but I know because he used to play it on Super Nintendo. So he liked all those Zelda games at the time. I think he stopped at Skyward Sword. Yeah, that was it. Didn't we all?
Killed it for him. But you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's one of the best Zelda games out there, and this was part of Nintendo's push to basically put all their big Super Nintendo titles on the Game Boy Advance shortly after it came out. I was excited for it to come out and spend time playing it. One is using just the Game Boy Advance hardware because mostly my time spent with Link to the Past was on like emulators and stuff. So this might have been like one of the places I had beat it for the most part, because I don't think I had it for the Super Nintendo. I would go over to my buddy's house and I would play it over there sometimes, but it was mostly emulators for me until it came out on here. So yeah, it was good stuff.
All right. So what else we got here? We got, that is it for, that's basically it. That's worth talking about from 2002. So now we're going back 30 years. And we have just one game for 30 years ago. Mega Man 5 was released in Japan. This is the first release of Mega Man. This is the Mega Man 5 30th reunion. It was okay rated Mega Man. Just that I think a lot of people, not a lot, I mean, I don't know, but people just say it was kind of more of the same. It wasn't really much different, but it was fine. It definitely wasn't like people, I mean, it was, I don't think it was a lot of people's favorites or anything, but it was fine. But it also came out at a time when Super Nintendo was out. But games were still coming out for Nintendo though. So this is one of those few like gems that were still coming out. So it was like, it was still worth having a Nintendo. Like there was like, even at this point, because I think Super Nintendo, it was in 1992. So Super Nintendo came out in 1991. So it's only been a year, right? Yeah. It came out in 91, right? I think it's 91 or 1990. I don't want to say 91 though. At least for America. I don't know what Japan is.
November 21st, 1990. I mean, that's effectively 91.
For what? Japan?
Or wait, let me see. Worldwide, it was 91, September, North America. Yeah, you're right. August 23rd, 1991 was America.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's when this.
Yeah, so it's still a year. So so games were still coming out for Nintendo, and I think games even next year was still games even coming out that was actually worth having on Nintendo. So it wasn't like, oh, it's dead. You know, they were still supporting it, and but I think people, but like they said graphically it was pretty good and everything, but just that it wasn't much difference with the previous installment. Even the story was the same. You were still fighting your brother, I guess, and your Mega Man's brother was leading these evil things and blah 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 whatever. I didn't even know he was for his brother. I didn't know the story of the early Mega Mans, honestly. I just knew Wally was the bad guy.
Same.
So that was it. And that is it for the flashback segment. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. So now we're going to get to the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic, it's finally happening. Microsoft has succumbed to market pressures and are going to be raising the prices of their AAA titles, such as, what is that game called? Starfield, and other big-name games that are coming out in 2023 to $70, basically citing, it's costlier to develop, and we all know the reality of it is everybody else is doing it, so why wouldn't they do it?
Exactly.
They've let Sony take the hit for, being the one to initially do it, and now they're going to go right ahead and do it. The
Has
reality,
Nintendo done it yet?
I would not be surprised, because where are Nintendo games at normally? Are they 60? I guess they are, right? So I feel like they should stay $10 behind everybody else. I feel like they've made a good career of doing that in a lot of cases, especially with this. But, with this whole, we talked about it before it released, but basically like the Switch tax in a time when you would have paid $10 less for a game, you're now paying $10 more because you're buying effectively the portable and the home versions of it in Nintendo's eyes. So they've been trying to milk you this entire time. They're not going to do it with the Switch. If we see, the Switch 2 announced in the next year or so, I could see them moving in that direction. But it's really going to depend on what kind of hardware they're pumping out there. If they're they're releasing games that look like they were Xbox One or PS4 games, then I could see them going in that direction. But if we're still talking about like 2 Switches glued together or something like that level of power, then I don't know if they can justify it public relation wise. I mean, in a lot of ways, like Microsoft is going to get away with this because of Game Pass also. Like, I'm going to sit here and tell you I don't feel like it's that big of a deal for Microsoft because, one, Sony's already done it, and all the other publishers seem to be, on board with that. And two, I'm going to get these titles that are now $70 on my Game Pass subscription that's still as of recording this, remains the same price, $15 a month. Now, this very much is, to me, a telltale sign that we will see Game Pass raise in price, probably sooner rather than later. I would not be surprised if by mid next year, Game Pass is more expensive. I think at the same time as
that we will get the family thing. I almost feel like they're going to raise the price and then tell what the family... Yeah, the family price is. So.
And in a lot of ways, I would be okay with that as long as they give us that option to, spread it across the, friends and family. Wink, wink.
I'll be pissed if they don't. If they do, if they raise the price before they even put out the family plan, like worldwide or at least in the U.S., then I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. But they at least have venues to like mitigate the bad press on them raising the price here. I think it was smart of them, especially with their release slate this year, which has been basically nothing, to remain at that, at this $60 price level and continue to sell people on Game Pass. But now next year, as we see things like Starfield and Redfall actually coming out, allegedly, we'll see. They haven't happened yet, but seemingly they have a slate of games next year. It makes sense for them to do this. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, everything is getting more expensive and wages remain stagnant and everything is bad, but there is at least some relief there in the form of Game Pass. In some other Microsoft news, actually, I didn't put this on here, but tied in with this news that Call of Duty has announced a partnership with Nintendo, basically stating that they will continue to put Call of Duty out on Nintendo consoles for 10 years following the, completion of the acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
They had a Call of Duty game on Nintendo?
No, they have. It's been quite a while since they did, but apparently they're going to.
Because you said they would continue. You said continue.
Well, and I was saying, like, sorry, it hasn't been since like the Wii U that there has been a Call of Duty game on the Nintendo console.
So we'll continue doing the same thing.
So expand. Yeah. I wonder if they're like, yeah, we'll put it out on your console if you want it. And Nintendo's like, I don't care. So they're like, we don't care. But no, to me,
I took it as they were. They are putting Call of Duty on Nintendo. Yeah. Like is that really the story?
That's what I'm gathering from it. I mean, basically, the story to me is Sony is being a big baby. We've made deals with Steam and Nintendo, and if Sony isn't willing to take this 10-year deal, I don't know what they want from us. That's what it feels like to me. Is because meanwhile Steam's like, we just exist. Like, put a game out. I don't care. And Nintendo's like, sure, we're doing fine by ourselves. Sony's the only one that's pitching a fit about the potential of losing Call of Duty. So
it really is.
It very much
just
feels
annoying.
like
it's very annoying. I'm sorry, it is fucking annoying. It's like
it is.
I don't know. I'm thinking like I mean, that's why. I mean, I don't really look at the comment stuff. No, I mean, sometimes I do just to get a laugh, but it's just that these people getting so annoyed about Microsoft getting Activision. I'm like, man, I hope, are y'all the Call of Duty fans? Because I seem like the Call of Duty fans don't really be on these
yeah.
these comment sections, in the comment sections I look at, because it seems like everybody says it sucks. Why the fuck do y'all care? I say, why do you care about, like, oh man, they're gonna lose people because they're gonna lose money? And it's like, dude, why is it you
Sony
care about
will still exist. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. It's like,
in fact, it may spur innovation, because then they'll need a first-person shooter to compete with Call of Duty if Call of Duty is still relevant. I mean, that's the thing, is like Sony is putting a level of relevance, and obviously it sells a lot, so there is some portion of that to Call of Duty, but in the like games as a conversation place, like Call of Duty hasn't been relevant for a while now. So like Sony putting out a new AAA first person shooter would be bigger news and could generate more sales than if, just continuing to sell Call of Duty on a PlayStation, as far as I'm concerned. What I'm saying is bring Killzone back, Dominic. But let whatchamacallit develop it. The people behind Destiny. Let them do it. Let Bungie do it. It seems so silly, but the news kind of going along with this is that the FTC has decided to basically make a lawsuit against Microsoft to try and inhibit its completion of this acquisition. Now, based on what I understand of it, is it's not even like a federal lawsuit. It's like a more internal thing. So it's basically like they're going to try and push Microsoft to like concede some things potentially to make the deal go through, if anything. It sounds like...
Okay, so what is the... Like, why? Why are they doing this loss? Like, what is it?
I think a lot of it is posturing. The person in charge of the FTC is very much like anti-big tech companies, and obviously this is like the first shot at showing that you're strong on tech companies.
How did they feel about Disney acquiring everything? How did they feel along those lines?
I don't know. I don't know if that would classify to them as a tech company. I mean, in a lot of ways, this could be viewed very similarly, right? Like, for that acquisition of Fox, they made them split off Fox Sports because they already had ESPN. And
Fox News and stuff like that.
And maybe you see something similar happen here where they're like, well, you can have Activision, but you can't have Blizzard. Now, I don't think they would go that route. I don't know that Microsoft would agree. They
probably would rather have Blizzard, honestly.
Potentially. I mean, really, out of this, the silent killer that Microsoft, I think, is looking to acquire out of all of that company is King, the mobile people who make Clash of Clans and make millions and billions of dollars. So really, I don't know if Microsoft would just be like, fuck it, they can have Activision, Blizzard, I don't care.
Give us King.
Yeah. So I don't know if it would come to something like that, or if it's just concessions as far as like, we're willing to put Call of Duty, and we're willing to say Crash Bandicoot will continue to release on, Sony consoles, our competitors' consoles. It really seems like they just want to kind of stomp their feet and say, we're tough on big businesses. And at the end of the day, maybe let this deal go through relatively unfazed, but they want to be able to score political points and be able to say, we're tough on big tech, because that's kind of what everybody's thing is right now, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. You want to be tough on big tech. So it is what it is. So just give us those games on Game Pass. That's all we're looking for. Their concession will be that no, we will not put them on Game Pass, so that Sony can still compete. Fuck them if that happens to be the case.
I know, man. That's the only way I'm playing Call of Duty.
All right, Dominic, we're going to get into the Game Awards announcements now. There were, for Jeff Keighley kind of coming out and saying there weren't going to be, big announcements or whatever. This show was still pretty chock full of things that looked pretty good and we may not have known about before.
It was all right. And you know what? I think he just said it to keep low expectations. That's all.
I mean, that's smart of them if that's the case. Good on him. So real quick, here are some of the things they showed on the pre-show.
Honestly, what's the difference between this and last year? What was the huge thing last year?
I don't even remember. Yeah,
I'm not saying that wasn't, but it's just that it's not memorable.
No,
if it was,
not at all. Yeah, so the pre-show kicked off. They announced that Dead Cells is getting some DLC that includes Castlevania stuff. I wonder what that's going to look like in actual gameplay wise. They had like a nice little drawn Dead Cells character guy versus Dracula, and then Alucard and Richter Belmont showed up and were fighting alongside him. So that was a lot of fun. I wonder what that actually ends up being, though. Dead Cells is a very good game, and Castlevania can have very good games. So the combination of those two, could turn out very good. You'll have the what I mentioned earlier, the announcement that Vampire Survivors is now out on phones and is free. That's fine.
So what? How is it like advertisements?
I honestly didn't notice any
money,
so I'm not sure, because the weird thing about this is like in the ad for this, they're like the original Vampire Survivors, but my understanding is actually Vampire Survivors is kind of a takeoff of a game that was already on phones. I don't remember what it is now, IO Survivor or something like that. And this kind of blew up, even though it was really not the original game, and that game already existed on phones. So I'm just wondering if it's like, hey, let's just snuff that game out on phones too and make it free. Or I wonder if it's just this is for that audience, because they know that like the people who are going to buy it on the consoles aren't necessarily the same people who are going to play it on phones. But maybe they could get some additional sales on consoles if they just give you a taste of it on the phones. Like me, if this game was on phones and not on Game Pass, it was only $5, and I tried it out on the phone and I was like, oh, this would be cool, but I would really prefer if it had a controller. They could sell me on that. So like maybe for people who don't have Game Pass, they could eke some sales out of that. I'm not sure. Or maybe I believe there's some DLC coming out soon that's only supposed to be like $2 or $3. Maybe the phone version of that then costs money and they do that or something like that. I'm sure there's a plan there, Dominic. It seems like this game is blowing up pretty big for them, so they've got something figured out that is probably much smarter than anything I'll be able to figure out. Next up was the announcement from Netflix of Valiant Hearts Coming Home. That is the sequel to Valiant Hearts, the Ubisoft product, side-scrolling kind of cartoony World War I game that was very serious despite the visuals of it. That is coming, as described in the trailer, to mobile soon. I've seen other articles say it's coming in early 2023. I don't know what that means.
Mobile, man, I don't give a shit. Damn.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that at the very least I can like play this with a Bluetooth controller or something, because I don't want this to be a mobile focused game. But I know that's basically like Netflix bringing people to where they are. They expect people to interact with Netflix content on their phones and stuff like that.
I don't know what the like how many people watch Netflix at home compared to their phones. I'm guessing maybe most of them. I mean, I'm honestly very ignorant to the numbers, but I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, I know a lot of people do, I just don't know what's more, and maybe that's what it is. I mean, based on what I be seeing with some games, a lot of people be talking about like, hey, I want a mobile version of this. So I'm thinking like, oh, maybe that's these people, the younger generation loves to use their phones even for games, and maybe that's fine for them. It's not fine for me. It's not fine for I do not like that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping either that is accessible via controller some way or comes to a console or a PC relatively short after that. I just wonder how much it's tied in with the Netflix stuff and whether, they're trying to figure out the logistics of like, how do you log into your Netflix account on your consoles for game content and not just for the Netflix app or whatever. So I guess we will see hopefully soon. Also coming out allegedly soon, early 2023, again, via some articles I've seen, Returnal for the PC, the PS5 exclusive, is finally coming to the PC after months and months and years of speculation, it seems like, and leaks. So that's finally happening.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. There's also a new Hellboy game coming that looks to be based on the comic books. It shares a very familiar art style with them.
You think that movie's worth watching again, the first one?
Hellboy? I don't know. I admittedly have never had the level of reverence for that series as I have seen some people, especially I think the second one, because did Guillermo del Toro direct the first one too?
He didn't do the first one?
I can't remember.
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not a Guillermo del Toro guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like the movie. I happen to like some of the movies he done, but I'm not like a huge fan or anything.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think at the time, as my last recollection of both of those movies, I thought they were fine. They were maybe fun.
Yeah,
but
I didn't hate them or nothing. I actually enjoyed them when I did see them.
But
it was like I wanted to see it again, but I haven't seen it so long now that I want to know, is it worth seeing it again?
I'd say it's probably worth your time to check it out again. It's probably holds up relatively well.
Yeah.
No, you just got to watch the new one instead.
I wish. But the one
with the guy from Stranger Things as Hellboy.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. I don't remember what that looks like.
Basically like slightly downgraded original Hellboy. It doesn't really look that much different.
I do have like a little like, I don't know what you would call it, like a tick. Like I get when I see Hellboy, I get like, why isn't his other hand big too? It's like I don't like. It's not symmetric. Yeah, it's like make the other hand back.
That's the problem,
too.
Dominic. You're following the Western world's beauty standards of symmetry as far as what makes people beautiful. So like, just embrace Hellboy the way he is.
No, just this what normal humans look like. That's all. That's all I'm doing. My bad if you came out a freak. I'm sorry. Ain't my fault.
Yeah, I mean, some things sometimes happen.
Blame your parents. For
Satan
that extra
and whoever.
Y chromosome or whatever the hell it is. I don't know.
All right, Dominic. Next up was Among Us.
That's the Down syndrome. I didn't mean to say that.
Oh, no. Dominic. All right, let's just cut that one out. Moving on. All right, Among Us, Dominic. That is adding a hide-and-seek mode. So, yeah, people are still playing Among Us, I'm sure. They can check that out. All right, so
hide-and-seek mode. Well, yeah. So what? Is this hide-and-seek?
Yeah, basically, like you're a player and you're trying to stay away from the like monster player instead of like trying to fool people into thinking you're not the monster. You're just like chasing them down, trying to get to them. All right, so I believe this kicks off kind of the real show announcements. Street Fighter 6, there was a little bit of a trailer for that and an announcement of its release date, June 2nd, 2023. So that'll be coming out then. You got that going on. After that was a big one. Hades 2 was announced. I don't think they've given a date for that. I think they said 2023 it's going into early access. So it seems like they may follow kind of the same development path as Hades 1, releasing that in early access, letting people play that like that, and then going on from there. But that game looks absolutely gorgeous, and I know you're a huge fan of Hades 1.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm not gonna say a huge fan, but I'm a big fan. Okay. I'm a big fan. All right, because I don't even know who the developers are. Oh, Supergiant, but I don't know their name, like the head guy's name or anything. So I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. I'm just big. But yes, that does look good. I do want to play it. I would not mind playing that game again. I wonder if it's just like a Switch sale ever for that game or something. I wonder how much it costs on the Switch. It might be on
sale right now, actually. I think I might have saw Wario64 talking about that. So basically what I'm saying is they just said nut up or shut up, Dominic, buy our game or not. I just wonder how well it works on the Switch. Like, it doesn't seem like a graphically intense game per se, but it does seem like you would want it to run pretty smoothly. And if it didn't, it would suck. It's $12.49 right now on the Switch, 50% off. So that seems $12.49?
Yeah, that is I think I might pick that up.
All right. So we got that. We got Hades 2. Next up, another
you picked that up.
Big one. We got. Notice how I just kept talking over it. Maybe we'll see. Because I do want to play that game at some point now that it's not on Game Pass anymore. I think if it holds up well on the Switch, I think the Switch would.
Maybe I give it to you for a Christmas gift. Or I ask Santa Claus. I'll ask Santa Claus.
All right, Santa baby, let's go. So the next game, another big one, like heavy hitter after heavy hitter here, Dominic. Ken Levine of Ghost Games, formerly of, now I can't think of the name of the people, but they made BioShock. Formerly of them, head guy over there, his new game, Judas, which basically seems like maybe Stranger BioShock. It feels very much like BioShock.
It really does, but it has that BioShock vibe. But it got me. I want to play that. Absolutely.
The only thing I'm a little concerned about is,
oh my god, that shit's online.
What's that?
Oh, is that? It's not online or anything, is it?
Well, I'm worried that much like when We Happy Few was first shown and looked very much like, oh, hey, here's the new BioShock thing, that maybe this isn't like a single player narrative focused exploration thing.
What did they said that?
I know they haven't said anything in like that. I have this like weird aversion now after We Happy Few. And I just feel like Ghost Story Games was supposed to be like this smaller developer. So that's what makes me think that like maybe this isn't this big epic thing like BioShock was. But that's just all pure speculation on my point. Like trying to temper my expectations in hopes of this being as great as it looks like it very well could be. So that's all that is. Don't take anything that I'm saying, with any sort of factitious nature. It's just, I worry. That's all. But it looks fantastic. The trailer looks very creepy, very odd. There's some weird stuff going on in it, but it also looks very familiar if you've played BioShock before. This lady has some weird hand powers, much like your tonics and whatnot in those games. So that looks cool. After that was Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. That's coming out exclusively on the Nintendo Switch March 17th, 2023. They kicked this trailer off by showing like Bayonetta as you know her, and I'm like, oh, weird. Are they like gonna finally put those games out on something else? Is Nintendo like given them permission to put them on PC or PlayStation or something.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
And then the next time I look at the screen, I'm looking at something that almost looks like Hades, but like also because it's, you know, like a kind of top-downy isometric view, but like like you've described it as basically like a DS or a 3DS level graphics game. With this kind of watercolory art style to it, very, very just not what you've come to expect from Bayonetta. And then it gets to the end of the trailer, and it's like Bayonetta Origins, and I'm like, wait, this is the game? This is Bayonetta?
Like if this was a DS game, like that actually fits it. So I'm like, you know what?
That would make sense if this was the DS game that came out alongside.
Because like how Monster Hunter Stories or something was on DS, so I was like, yeah. That fits it because it's like a cutesy little Monster Hunter thing and something like that. Yeah, I can see that. And then so like, oh look, they're doing a little nice cutesy Bayonetta for the DS. Their kitty machine. Yeah. Even though they are a kitty machine, the kittier machine. I don't know, but yeah, but this being on a Switch and looking like that, like it's not that it's not. I don't mind it being a cutesy artsy game.
Yeah, the art style looks fine. It's
I mean, it's
the
all
jaggediness
right.
of it.
Exactly. I'm like, come on, man.
Where's the
anti-aliasing? That, can't you?
Yeah. So that was weird. That was a weird trailer. Gameplay wise, I'm not entirely sure what it is. It could be fun, but just it's going to be hard to get over how kind of incomplete or low effort it kind of looks. Next up was a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League trailer featuring Batman. As we've seen in the past, all the kind of good guys have gone crazy from something, and in this one they've got the Flash captured and they're going after Batman, who in this trailer is voiced by Kevin Conroy, and they've announced that he is going to be the voice of Batman in this game. I guess
so he's coming back. He's coming back from the grave to still do the voice. That is commitment right there.
That is, I mean, he's a professional through and through.
Yeah.
So I guess he recorded all his stuff before he unfortunately passed away. That game is also now releasing May 26th.
They ain't say that. I still think he came out the grave. Stop assuming stuff.
He might have. We'll see how well his voice holds up without having a tongue or something.
They don't keep the tongues in the mouths?
I don't know what they do. Don't they like replace it with silver? Isn't that what they did in The Simpsons?
Shut up.
Jebediah Springfield has thoughts otherwise. Yeah. But yeah, so that game is coming out May 26th. Next up, we found out another PlayStation exclusive coming to the PC. Last of Us Part 1 is now coming to the PC March 3rd, 2023. So you can play that there. I know you were a little disappointed by this announcement because that means it's going to be high power graphics and possibly not run too well on your PC. Dominic, what do you think?
Yeah, still feel that way. But yeah, I do. But I'm happy that the PC people crowd gets to play this game, so they can be. This is the good one, as the Last of Us crowd likes to say, who are big Joel fans, even though I'm not. I'm okay with him getting killed the way he did.
Hey! Spoilers still.
Okay, I'm sorry. Even though it happens at the beginning of the fucking game. But it's like, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for those spoilers if you missed it. Yeah, PC people don't. Yeah, because they kept away from the news, right?
See? Exactly. PC people still have like 20 years to go before they get part 2 released. Honestly, when I first saw this trailer, I thought it was part 2 that they were announcing for PC. And I was like, why would they put out part 2?
But they did it for Uncharted. It's like,
I mean, that's why I thought it was at first. And
that is still stupid.
It really is. And then you call it the Uncharted Collection, no less.
Yeah, because I went in looking like, because I totally forgot that you said that. I was looking like, oh shit, yeah, I'm about to I'm about to get this, man. You know, try to collect. That's like, oh shit! I read the description. It's like, oh, this is only that's right.
Just
I remember
the last
we talked
2
about
games.
this. Like, God, this doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, God,
no, it's very silly. All right. After that was Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That is got a release date of March 17th, 2023 now. So they showed off a new trailer for that. They also had the guy that plays the main actor there with a little toy lightsaber swinging that around on stage.
He was there? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That looks good. Yeah, the Joker was there. The Joker.
Or, so. I mean, I guess maybe more people know him from Shameless, but I don't know his name. But what was it in Shameless?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Does that show still come on? I feel like that has been on. No, I think that was the last
season. Whatever the last season was the last season.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so that looks good. Still want to finish up that first game.
Oh yeah, that game. Yeah, that game looks good. And it looks like it's taking place after, like, during the First Order or after the First Order is gone. I think they said, First Order is gone, right? That's what they said.
Yeah, there were also like droids. So I don't know what's going on.
The robots didn't all just die, Daniel.
I mean, I guess that's true.
But in the First Order, didn't all just die. Like, they didn't kill everybody. I mean, just like how the Empire was still sort of around, like some spigots of it still around after the movie.
Right.
But yeah, because like he's supposed to be grown, because you see him grown with the beard and stuff. Like, he's not. I guess I don't know how old you're supposed to be. Was he supposed to be like a teenager or young 20s or something? I don't know what.
I would have said young 20s, but I don't know if I'm just attributing like his, the actor's.
I think the actor.
Look.
Yeah,
he's older. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I just felt like, well, no, it can't be young 20s, because he was a kid when the shit went down.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so Vader was, the Empire's still around, so he would have to be maybe a teenager. And so, yeah, probably a teenager, late teens in that game. Mm. Or maybe like 20. I said the most 20. But, yeah. He looked younger, but he looked... How old was Skywalker? Because he looks almost like he could be around his age, or Skywalker's a little bit older. I don't know. Who would... He looked like around the same age, really. He looked that much older than Skywalker.
It seems like Luke Skywalker, in this game, he's going to be 23? That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right, because it said the First Order is gone. The First Order wasn't even a name.
Let's see. The day Order 66 was given, Cal was 13 years old. When the game starts, we learn that the Empire has been in control for 5 years. With that logic in mind, Cal is 18 during the Fallen Order, the first game. So that's what this person is speculating.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what he speculates. Okay.
Well, I mean, based on the math that they've provided, that checks out. So
yeah, I don't trust math. Math science. No, but but yeah, I'm excited to see how this story goes. I still think that woman looks weird. The black woman who plays in the show.
And now she's bald in this one.
She wasn't bald in the last one?
Oh,
no, she wasn't. But she's bald in real life, right? I think is that what they're trying to go for here?
I don't know if that's what they're going for, but maybe.
Maybe. Well, they went with him. He looks like his character. So maybe, and she looks like her. I mean, she does look like her. So but darn, it's like this looks weird, and that kind of like it's supposed to be her, but it just doesn't. I don't know. It looks weird.
The weirder thing is, like, now I'm thinking about it. Isn't she also the one playing what's her face in Suicide Squad? Because didn't they have her come out on stage like last year and like
I didn't know
shut everybody up to play the trailer?
Oh, see, I didn't even see none of that stuff.
Squad, I just saw the trailer. Amanda Waller. Video game.
I mean, you know, she was at Wolfenstein. She was a black woman in Wolfenstein.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, I'm not gonna be able to find it quickly. So yeah, that looks cool. I'm excited for that. I want to know who this person that they keep focusing in on the Bacta tank is. That weird looking person. They got to be some form of Jedi. I wonder if it's somebody that people from books know or something.
Oh, Mace Windu.
Again. It's Mace Windu. Man, he has changed. All right. Next up, Dominic, it was Earthblade. This is a new game from the developers of Celeste. Extremely okay games. It's announced for 2024. I basically just showed a little kind of gameplay trailer. It looks very similar to Celeste, but maybe with slightly up-res graphics, as in like from NES to SNES level type stuff. And it seems like it's going to be kind of a Metroidvania. There's a little more action, like you're attacking people instead of just platforming in this one. And that looks really good. After that was... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man.
All right. After that was the announcement that there's a Forspoken demo out now on the PS5. So I got to check that out. I was looking at some stuff earlier, though, and it did not look great, which I am surprised by.
I looked at it on Twitch. Yeah.
Everything I've seen up until now looked pretty good. I mean, both visually and gameplay-wise seemed interesting. But I don't know. After that,
I mean, I don't know if it could be just because of. I was hoping that it didn't look that great because of just the video quality of the stream. I have no idea. I haven't looked at it because I was through a Twitch streamer, so I don't know.
And you never know nowadays because like a lot of capture stuff is still like 1080p. You know, you don't know what kind of capture devices some of these people have if they're not like top level streamers.
Exactly.
So, yeah, definitely. All right. Next up, Dominic, the annual appearance of Kojima. He brought with him the Heat, Dominic. He brought with him Death Stranding 2.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like it's got a Metal Gear Rex in it now. Sort of. Like, people in the crowd seemed to cheer when they saw this thing coming out of the ooze or whatever that kind of looked like a floating Metal Gear thing with a crane on it. But otherwise, this looks...
I saw that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah? No?
I didn't even think about Metal Gear when I saw it. I never put that
together. Konami's done such
Metal
a
Gear.
Good job of scrubbing Kojima's legacy off of Metal Gear.
Dominic. I mean, yeah... I don't know. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't think about that. But, yeah.
You were too distracted by all the babies and the disappearing babies and the babies turning into tentacles.
Now that I played the first game, I am so disinterested in Death Stranding. Like, don't care. Because, I mean, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Like, if I'm still... I mean, if I'm still carrying packages to place, I could give two shits. Because that story was, it was something.
Overindulgent, to say the least, is what it feels like. And that's what this trailer feels like. Even at the end of the trailer, the like credits roll, and then it comes back up with this dude that looks like Raiden with his like metal body and then a face mask, and he's like playing guitar, and he's got an octopus shoulder lamp thing. Like, it's too much Kojima. Kojima, calm your Kojima down, please.
It's the Clockwork Orange of the gaming
Sure. Sure. Hopefully there's less rape in it.
But you know, it's what I was about to say. Fuck. I forgot what I was about to say. But fuck this game. Sorry, I was joking. But no. No, damn. I was about to say something. Something about the game. Oh, did they have a release date? Or release time or year?
I didn't see anything.
Is it PlayStation exclusive?
I believe it is again.
Okay.
So
we'll get it. And this time they're not going to let Xbox get it because they're going to say they're going to
dare put it on Game Pass.
We're mad that you get an Activision.
We're already making a game for them. You want to put this game on there too? Nah, no way. All right, Dominic. Next up, Immortals of Avium. This was like a brief trailer. Looked like some first-person stuff in a somewhat like fantasy-looking thing. It's being published by EA under their like Originals license or publishing arm, I guess, for 2023. I'm intrigued to see more of it, just to see what it actually is. But this trailer didn't give us much to go on.
I don't even remember what it is, man. So right. we can keep going because it's
right. Next up, Dominic, we got Tekken 8. They showed off some gameplay for that. It looks like Tekken, but prettier. What do you think?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks good. It looks good.
It does. Yeah, but
Tekken, I played the last one. It's okay, but it's not something I can stick around for. I don't. For some reason, I was not. The days of Tekken 3 are gone for me. So I'm happy that
it's one I enjoy watching as part of like the fighting tournaments because of how smooth it is, but playing it, it's not really for me anymore. All right, next up, Baldur's Gate 3 got a release date. Well, a release window. It's releasing in August 2023, and there's like a special edition. This was basically like a commercial, so there's that. After that, Airship Syndicate. They've previously worked on. Now I'm forgetting what games it was. I'm confusing them with somebody else.
Warframe?
But no, the people they're partnering with, Digital Extremes, are the Warframe people. So there is a Warframe connection there. I almost want to say like Paladins or something because it looks kind of like that, but I don't think that's it. But they are releasing a character-based online action RPG, basically like a Diablo-style game, in some point in the future. I don't think they had a release date on this one either. It looks all right. Visually, I think it looks cool. It's not anything that hasn't been done before visually, but I think it looks all right. Oh, Darksiders, maybe? Why am I just blanking on who these people are now? Airship Syndicate. I looked it up, I feel like, right before, but I also looked up Splash Damage, and I think Splash Damage is the one I'm confusing them with. Yeah, they worked on Darksiders Genesis, so not the original Darksiders team, but
that was the one, the isometric one, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they also worked on Ruin King, a League of Legends story, and Battle Chasers. That's the one I was trying to think of, which is like that game I feel like has been around and talked about a bit, but was never really on anyone's radar ever.
I feel like I played that game.
Maybe. I definitely want to say it was like a free game on Xbox at some point in time. So, all right. Next up, Dominic, speaking of Diablo.
Yeah, I played it. Yeah, it was on Game Pass.
Okay. Diablo 4, that has got a release date now, June 6th, 2023. There was a very extended sequence with Halsey playing some music from it, and then
I hope it does, because hopefully Microsoft will have that company and I can play that on Game Pass.
And hopefully also it releases on June 6th, because apparently around this time there was also like some articles that went out with people from that team basically saying like there's going to be a lot of crunch needed for that to actually happen. Turn it off. So we'll see if that release date holds true or not. Next up, Dominic, we got some DLC for Horizon Forbidden West. This is going to be PS5 exclusive. It's called Burning Shores. Looks like it takes place in like Los Angeles because you see the Hollywood sign in the trailer. That's coming out April 19th, 2023. I gotta say that Hollywood sign was well built to have survived until whatever year it is in Horizon.
I know, man. And just to be destroyed right there, it's like, goddamn, national landmark.
I thought that stuff was just like cloth or something, or like plywood. Guess it holds up to basically the entire death of the planet.
They put it back up. I guess they put it back up now. And they saw like, because they thought it was like, this is the gods. This is like the god's name.
It's like if we tried to rebuild Stonehenge or something like that. Yes.
And then, it just got short again.
Yeah. So that's coming out April 19th. So, yeah, if you're looking for more Horizon, you can check that out.
They got that and the VR game.
What's that?
Yeah, that and the VR game,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because that's around the same time, too.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Dominic, you have a hot Bandai Namco Amazon collabo called Blue Protocol. This is going to be a MMO action RPG. It makes me very much think of like Genshin Impact here. It's always
MMOs with the damn Amazon. Like there's always these like not MMOs, but something like multiplayer something and
well, they're leveraging their online infrastructure or whatever they would say, probably. The cloud, Amazon.
Oh, but compute. It does. Yeah, you say anime. It does. Does it look like Genshin Impact? I don't remember. I probably saw it.
It does. It just straight up looks like anime characters. So to me, I mean, Genshin Impact is the most generic
got some lollies,
anime things.
That's what they call them, right? Lollies. Like the young looking girls.
Yeah, I think that's what like the Genshin Impact, like 50, especially 50 that one like annoying character in Genshin Impact, the one that floats around and like is your Navi like. I think that would be a lolly.
These people got to be their fetishes, right? I mean, the guys who actually do draw it. I mean, come on. I mean, you know what? No, it doesn't have to be. They just know the audience. We got a lot of purpose.
Maybe that's what it is, yes.
Yeah. We just, our audience.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Dominic. This is the splash damage game, Transformers Reactive. It's going to be a 1 to 4 player online action game. I don't know what that means. This was a CGI trailer that mostly focused on people in this like post-apocalyptic world. I hope in a Transformers game you actually play as Transformers. That's all I can say.
But it doesn't seem like a game I would play though. 1 to 4 player online act. I mean, unless it's like a nice. I just have a feeling it's not going to be that good. Honestly, I mean, 1 to 4 player sounds good. I mean, it sounds good. Like yes. I mean, I would like to play a nice cooperative multiplayer game.
I get like Evolve vibes from this, and I could actually see that kind of working if you're like playing as humans.
Evolve. Wait a minute. Is it 1 versus? Like 3 versus 1 person then? What are you saying?
I haven't seen it described that way yet. No, I haven't.
So I'm just thinking because this is 1 to 4. Yeah. If they did say that, then I wouldn't even care to talk about it.
Because then you could do like, okay, you're fighting a Transformer, but then like if one of you gets like a power up or something, you get to turn into a Transformer, and then you have a big Transformer battle or something like that. But yeah, I mean, for what they showed us, we don't have much to go on here, so it's not worth spending too much time on. Next up, Dominic, was more of the Mario movie. There was a new little clip of this, basically featuring Mario going through warp pipes, which was comedic because he smashed into the sides. This is very much clearly telling like a stranger in a strange land kind of thing. Mario is from some sort of different universe than the Toadstool universe, the Mushroom Kingdom, I guess, and they're very much playing that up. It continues to look good, Dominic. What do you think? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think it looks good. It looks like a good movie.
So I'm here for it. We'll see how it goes. Next up, Don't Nod's new action RPG game. They are the people who did Life is Strange and that vampire game. Banishers Ghosts of a New Eden. They showed off mostly a CG trailer of this and then a little bit of what looks like kind of a third-person action RPG, gameplay stuff. This is allegedly coming out at the end of 2023. Looks pretty good. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Don't Nod. What did they do? I know that name.
Life is Strange.
It's Life is Strange. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Does it look like a Life is Strange kind of thing?
No, it looks more like a Witcher kind of thing. But if they can take some of the action RPG elements of games that have done it well and then meld that with like the dialogue stuff that they seem to be very good at.
Yes, they're very good at that. Definitely.
It doesn't seem like Vampire necessarily pulled that off very well, but hopefully they learn some lessons from that. So we shall see. Looked good visually. Of course, that was the CG part, so who knows if it was pre-rendered or not. Next up, a real short trailer for Space Marine 2. That's coming out in 2023 still. Space Marine, Dominic.
I mean, I am very surprised that they're doing this. Cause I'm surprised that it happened years ago, honestly. I mean, I'm surprised it took this long to come with a sequel to Space Marines.
Yeah, especially with how many Warhammer games they've just been pumping out year after year.
Exactly. Those other Warhammer games have gotten sequels since they came out after Space Marines and gotten sequels to themselves. And now Space Marines is just coming out. And I mean, this game, I see it every time on Steam on sale. Every fucking like every time there's a big sale, I see Space Marines. I'm just thinking like, darn, man, that's like, I mean, this game has sold a lot. I mean, it's not like a huge seller, but I think it sold enough for like a Warhammer game. I was like, I'm surprised it just haven't done like a sequel. And I wonder,
it feels like it was one of the first like really critically acclaimed ones too.
Exactly, yeah. And it was something that anybody can really get their hands on, because a lot of Warhammer games are kind of nichey. Like they're either very Diablo-like, so you got a crowd who likes that type of game, or the strategy-liked. Like strategy, like basically StarCraft or something, or turn-based strategy. So yeah, this is the one that's like, oh, it's action. It's an action game, and that's what it is. Now I wonder if this is going to be multiplayer, like I wanted the first one to be. Will they at least be 2-player? But I don't know. I mean, as long as it's a good game, I mean, that's fine. Even though I would like it to be the cooperative. I mean, I don't see enough of. There's not a lot of Gears-like games. There's just. I thought that would happen. Like, it went from this, like, thinking, like, oh, man, a lot of things going to be online, like, cooperative, like, Gears, like, be like Gears. But it seemed like they just skipped it. They say, like, you know what? No. It's either going to be single player or 4 or more people or something like that. Like, it's going to be something, like, huge. Like, 8 versus 8 or something. Or if it is cooperative, it's 4 versus 1. And it's like they go on multiplayer in a huge way. They don't like this is smaller cooperative games. They really don't do, or it's like or it's like Lego or something like that, or something where you have to be at home. Like it has to be on one. You can't do it online. You have to be on the same console. And yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, I wonder what happened with that. I guess it may be the money. Like I say, hey, look, we're going to multiplayer. We're going to do it big and try to get people to pay more money towards it too. Yeah. So,
yep.
They just stopped it with that.
Nobody wants to spend the money, Dominic. All right. Next up was Meet Your Maker. This game, I didn't remember seeing it initially during the presentation, but when I was going back through it again, it caught my eye. It looks kind of like this first-person roguelike, but with like Minecraft elements, like you're building the environment.
And I guess you could be with multiple people.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
I saw this too. This is what, like, on a video I was looking at with like the top trailers. This wasn't there. I actually had to see that.
Oh, okay.
On my own. That's why I realized, so that was just the top trailers, because I was like, I thought that was all of them. As long as it was like 30-some minutes. So they showed a shit ton of trailers in this damn thing.
I mean, as it turns out, there's just a lot of top trailers too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what it wasn't like we didn't really see gameplay, did we?
I think some of the building stuff looked like gameplay, but yeah, it wasn't a lot. I'm intrigued to see what this actually is. Like, it kind of came out of nowhere. I want to know, is it like you build your own tower and go through, or somebody builds a tower and you play on their tower? You play their tower. You get in the tower that they made. Is it like Halo Forge mode or something where you can just go pick the stage to play in or something? For me, that would definitely be the cooler option.
Yeah, like I say, like, hey, you can play people's stages and they rate them, so you can know what's the good ones and shit like that. Like Mario Maker stuff. Or something, Mario Maker stuff like I mean, Forge does that. Actually, Forge did that before Mario Maker, but Mario Maker was just a whole lot simpler. Yeah. Yeah, but that's coming out April 4th, 2023, so that's going to be soon.
So we'll see how that ends up turning out. It seems really cool. After that,
I didn't watch this. Go ahead.
The Crash guy came out, full Crash Bandicoot suit and all, yelling on his microphone like he used to back in the commercials.
Which Crash suit we talking about? We talking about the one where you don't see his face, or you see his face and his teeth?
This one you don't see his face.
Oh, they got the good ones. I hated that one. I hated the one where I used to see like the guy with the suit and you see his face through his teeth. I said, no, I didn't see that when I was little. I say when the first Trash, I didn't see no human face. I feel like
that's the more campy version is the one where you see his face.
I'm like, that's so stupid. It's like you ruined the moment. Is it now kids gonna know that you're not real?
Yes, that's what it is. But he came out to announce Crash Team Rumble. That's coming out next year sometime as basically like a multiplayer kind of not quite party game because it doesn't look like Mario Party. It still looks like there's some platforming stuff.
Oh, shit. That's not what I thought. Because like I said, I didn't click on to watch the trailer. I thought that shit was just Smash Brothers. Oh, damn.
It's not a fighting game necessarily.
Okay.
It's like a collection thing. Like you're trying to get the most fruit on the pedestal or something.
So like Crash Team Racing is going to be the best Mario Party game. So there you go. It's like Crash Team Racing was the best kart game.
Exactly. All right, next up, Dominic, The Lords of the Fallen. They had a new trailer for that. That is apparently set 1,000 years after Lords of the Fallen without the, because, they added a the for the sequel.
That is so retarded. I mean, God,
so
I shouldn't say that, but it's just, no, it's
confusing.
stupid.
That's what it is. It's dumb.
But it's confusing too, but whatever. Just still, whatever, man.
It's like I told you, though, I thought the new one also came out.
It's so mentally disabled. It's so mentally disabled, that stupid ass title. Dominic. God.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, why? On. Like, why? I mean, come on. Just adding the to it.
Yeah. It's
I don't know what's it going for there? Like, what's.
It's going for this being the definitive one, Dominic. The Lords of the Fallen. Those were just some random lords. These are the Lords of the Fallen.
They should put the original one up to $60 and just like, or 70. Put that shit up to $70.
See if they tried to trick people into buying the wrong one.
Say Lords of the Fallen. They put Game of the Year edition real small so people can tell.
They better put that old game free on everything when this new game comes out. Otherwise, there are definitely going to be people that purchase incorrectly the wrong one.
I want to see them purchasing the wrong shit. That's what I want to see. Because of the stupid ass name, like it's not even. The Lord.
This is the Xbox naming scheme all over again, Dominic.
The Lord. Say, we added the to it. No. Oh, we took away the. Which one?
No, they added the. They added the. This is the definitive one. Yep.
Lords of the Fall. The Lords of the Fall.
All right, Dominic. Next up, Michael Madsen came out
to good, talk. I'm sorry. Going back to that, it does look good to me. Like
it looks it looks like a good Souls game.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I have no idea how it plays. But
I thought the same thing about the original Lords of the Fallen, and then played some of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is just a Dark Souls game." So never mind.
Did the first one have guns too?
What's that?
Did the first one have guns?
No, the first one I don't recall having any guns.
All right, so this is like like you said, it's 1,000 years after, so they finally got guns. Like when I saw this trailer, I thought it was Dark Souls 4 or something. I don't know, something like that. I could swear I was like, oh shit, they got guns in this thing. So they're making Dark Souls look really good. I'm actually like, damn man, it got guns. I kind of want to play. I kind of want to say because I like guns. And then when I saw his Lord, I said, oh okay, yeah. No wonder I kind of like it because it's still that Dark Souls like, but it's. Yeah. It looks. Cause I was looking at it, and it's like it looks better. I was like, why did they make Dark Souls actually look really good? Like just looking at it, it's like it doesn't look boring. Like it has a boring look to it.
Yeah. So we'll see how it turns out.
Now I know why. Because now I know like all Dark Souls games are supposed to look boring. You're supposed to look boring and draggy.
How'd you know, Dominic? All right. Next up, Dominic, Michael Madsen came out on stage to very enthusiastically announce Crime Boss Rocky City. This is just like, we didn't see any gameplay in this. I don't know if it's first-person shooter. I don't know if it's third-person shooter.
Glover, why did they get his old ass? Like, the last time I saw him, like he was struggling to talk. Like, how did the hell they get him to do voice acting?
I don't know, but they've got everybody in this game that you would want if you are nostalgic for like 80s
if you
movies.
Were the 80s and 90s, yes, 80s and early 90s. By the 90s, by the late 90s, they were old.
Yes. Yeah, but let's see. As I said, Michael Madsen, he was there. Travis Baker, I'm not sure who that is, to be honest with you. Kim Basinger, Casey Damon.
Kim Basinger, sure. Jesus Christ. Yeah. The lady looked like she could barely hold her face in that movie. What the F was it? The one with Russell Crowe and it was like they were both detectives.
Yeah,
it was like a comedy, and she was in there because I was like, "Who? This lady looks familiar." So, that's Kim Basinger. Oh, yeah. I say, yeah, because she got a lot of makeup and stuff done to her face.
Yeah, but she's in there. Danny Trejo, Danny Glover, Michael Rooker, Vanilla Ice, Chuck Norris. Like, this is
Vanilla Ice. When I saw Vanilla Ice, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
I was like, "What the hell?"
I was like, "This is too much." I'm good. But yeah, it looks like it might be kind of like a heist type thing, like a Payday type thing is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, first person doing heists, but it does not look good to me at all.
Get Robert De Niro in there or something like that, you know.
It just looks like they're trying to play on nostalgia way too much.
Joe Pesci?
Who?
Joe Pesci.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't mention it, but Al Pacino was at the awards. He gave out best voice actor. So,
my God, he actually got Al Pacino to come there. That is amazing.
He got Al Pacino to come there. He got Al Pacino there. He got Daniel Craig on video call. He's Jeff Keighley's out there making moves. So, I saw a picture of Kojima sitting next to Al Pacino, Dominic. The worlds have collided. I don't know. Collided. I don't know what it was. Coalesced. I don't know what's going for there. Anyway, yeah, so that game looks like a game. Next up, Cyberpunk expansion.
Yeah, what is it?
Liberty.
Like, what is it? Is it going to be an action game? Well, what is this?
I'm thinking it's a first-person shooter of some type. I saw a bit of it where you look like you're in first person. But that's the extent of it that I got out of that trailer.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. Next up, Cyberpunk expansion, Phantom Liberty. And in this, it is going to be using Idris Elba's likeness and voice, much in the same way they did with Johnny Silverhand. So that's coming out sometime next year. What do you think, Dominic? Will this motivate you to jump back into Cyberpunk?
Well, I would have to buy the game again.
Yeah. Yeah, you would. Because did you buy that on Stadia?
Yeah, I bought it on Stadia.
So did you get a refund for that?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
But I only paid what? I forgot how much I paid for it. $13-something?
Oh, shit. I didn't realize. I knew it was cheaper, but I didn't realize it was that much cheaper.
It was a sale. It was because the thing was, it was already a sale in the game, and then it was a promotion for new Stadia people.
That's what it was. Gotcha. All right. So probably not then. Probably not going to get you to jump back in necessarily right away.
I mean, it might be cheaper by the time it comes out, but thing is, but then I want to stream it because I was able to stream it, so I didn't have to struggle with my PC. If I had a better PC, I definitely would jump back in it again, but I don't, so I probably not unless I get a new console or something
on the Nvidia.
I think you might can
streaming. Yeah, so maybe that would be an option, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Stadia was actually relevant for something, Dominic. the right way to play Cyberpunk. Yeah. So there was that. Then there was a trailer for Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon.
That was it. That when I was talking about robot games, that was the one I couldn't think of. It was Armored Core. Gotcha. So it was like MechAssault, Armored Core. Damn, now I can't remember the other one. What was the Square Enix one called?
Front Mission.
Front Mission. Yeah, Front Mission. Even though I mean just the name. Like I knew it was like it was robots, but it was turn based. But I didn't just if you said the name, I would just get them all mixed together.
Yeah.
And then there was a Steel Battalion. No, that's Steel Battalion. but was it? I forget what the I forgot. There was another one. But yeah, I always get them all mixed up. I was like, all these mech games. I said I don't know which one's which.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Armored Core 6. I don't remember when the last time I heard about Armored Core, honestly.
I don't know, but I'm excited to see how they turn Armored Core into a Souls-like, Dominic, because that's what's happening to this game.
Well, a future Souls-like, that might at least it will appeal to me visually if they, unless it's just.
I don't know. Those robots look pretty drab too.
Yeah, they did, but I don't know. But
there's a lot of grays.
Reason, I could deal with that instead of knights and soldiers and stuff. I can
because they still have guns, right? I mean, there's that at least. So
and thing is, I like knights and armor and stuff. I don't want to look that. I mean, you already got it playing weird to me. It's like then you got it just looking like it's just like. Where's the fun in this again? It's like this doesn't look fun. I was like, it doesn't even look fun. Or like if I do pull off a move, I mean, it's like, I beat it, but it's not like I beat it in spectacular. I look cool beating it, being the boss. I beat it, but
I beat it and then I tumbled away because I was afraid it was gonna get like a last hit on me.
Yeah, I just tumbling and bumbling around and. It's like, like just avoid. Yeah, it just doesn't feel a cool way of doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why the internet would tell you to get good, Dominic.
Well, get good doesn't mean I look cool. Oh, I gotta look good. Gotta get good to look cool to do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
you gotta get good to make it look cool when you do it. All right, the last one we got here, Dominic. Final Fantasy 16. That's coming out June 22nd, 2023. There's a new trailer there. It looked like there was some child murder going on and some retribution for child murder. What do you think?
I mean, that kid, he looked like, look at that face. I mean, who wouldn't want to kill that kid?
Goodness
I mean, but anyway. No, that actually, if I said 16, it looks pretty good. It looks better than when I looked at 15. Like 15, I had no excitement for. Like, it didn't look that great. Honestly, to me, but something about 16 makes it like I wouldn't mind trying this. I wouldn't mind trying this game. Though I do feel like I would be disappointed in the story. Like the story would just get away from me. Yeah. And then I'll just like it. But just the look of the game, I'm like I do want to play this. Like I find it more appealing than what 15 looked like.
Gotcha. Yeah. Seems all right.
What you thought of it?
I'm in the same vein as you. Like, to me, there's something more appealing about it than there was 15, but I'm still not. It's still not pulling me in. 7 has like the nostalgia factor to it that would maybe get me to play that game, but unless I hear like spectacular things about this, like how they change combat with the inclusions of the summons, because it seemed like in all the earlier trailers that was kind of what they were showing, was you basically like turning into the summons and fighting like that. If that was something interesting, but I'm with you that I don't think anything about this story is necessarily going to be good or something that would motivate me to play the game. So combat definitely, I mean the combat even over like Final Fantasy VII Remake seems to be more like action and enticing.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, like 15. I think it started with 13. Well, actually, technically, it started with 12.
Go ahead,
12,
say it, Dominic. It started with Kingdom Hearts.
No, well, look, okay, yeah, that's really what it is. Because 12, it was feeling like, oh, I got a little more control, but not that much.
Yeah,
you really, it gave you the illusion. And of course, Kingdom Hearts, that was just action. And 13, it was a little more than 12. It was a little more than 12, but it was still kind of turn-based. With it, but it was I liked it like that though. I was like, if it's gonna be that, be that. Then it just said, "Fuck it, you be going, we're just going, you go crazy. You just look crazy, and you don't know what the fuck going on, but you pressing buttons." It is.
Yeah. All right, Dominic. So that was it for the announcements of the Video Game Awards. Do you want to go over real quick some of the winners, or do you just want to save that for next week? Because it'll probably be a slow week anyway, and we got to get
moving. Save that for next week, man, because we're pretty damn long. And actually, it's not as important as the trailers.
No, it's really not. All right. So we'll get into new releases here real quick, Dominic. We don't have much in the way of that either this week. We do have Hello Neighbor 2 out on PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series of consoles. So if you got a child that's into weird, creepy home invasions, you can check out Hello Neighbor 2, because that secretly was like some weird big hit that got a whole bunch of merch for children. I don't know how, but
yeah,
sure. And then we have Dragon Quest Treasures for the Nintendo Switch, Dominic.
Yeah, that kind of stuck up on me. I didn't realize this was just coming out.
Yeah, it looks all right, though. Seems to be reviewing all right as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Dragon Quest stuff seemed to be, like with, of course, the main quest games, and then you have the builders, that in the sequel, and then, like, some of this stuff seems to be, like, they get rated pretty well. Like, they're all right. Yeah. They're all right games.
Yeah, I always liked like Dragon Quest Builders. I thought that was a good twist on like Minecraft, giving you more, goals and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was. And the art style, I mean, that Dragon Ball Z guy, I mean, that art style, I mean, I do like it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like it, in that way.
Yep. So those are our new releases, Dominic. You got anything else for the people?
No, I'm good.
All right. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic's at DStallworth5. I'm at RegulusMB. The podcast is at Supapod, SUPAPOD. Supapod.com is the website. You can check us out there. It has all of our previous podcasts, as well as links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as audio podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all those places that you find podcasts. And until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see you.